Today, we're doing a DIY Valentine's Day gift. Valentine's Day is approaching quickly, and guys, just so you know, it's on the 14th every year. Doesn't change. Now you can get your sweetheart the same old stuff, flowers, chocolates, all that stuff, or you can make her something she loves. Today, we're using our Valentine's Day set and we're gonna make a Valentine's Day gift. There's 10 different templates that come in this set and we're gonna show you what they all look like carved. Not only do these make great gifts, but they're also big sellers. Something to remember, guys, when any holiday comes, selling the stuff that relates to that holiday is huge. February 15th, they won't sell all that great. But for the first month and a half of the year, they sell really well. I'll make sure to put a link in the description below for everything we use today. Let's make some sawdust. So this layout was super simple. I just used 3 of the templates out of the Valentine's Day set and made sure they were spaced right top to bottom and left to right. And also you want to make sure that the individual template in the middle, it has the even space between the 2 different cupids. And that's really about it. Once I had the spacing done, then I used the black primer and sprayed to give me my outline so I can start carving. For the I Love You template, and also a couple other ones in this set, you want to make sure to use a ruler and connect the bottom line on the love and the top line on the you, just so you have a line to follow. Eyeballing this while you're carving can get pretty tricky. Guys, we are on a campaign this year to hit 100,000 subscribers. That is a huge goal for us. You could really help us out by hitting that subscribe button, clicking the little bell icon, and that also helps the algorithm kind of push our videos. So if you like what we're doing, do us a solid, hit that subscribe button. So I decided to do the I Love You inset. So I started out with the 60-degree bit at 3/16 of an inch deep. Now these are pretty bubbly, good sized letters, so they're not very difficult. You just want to make sure to take your time. But there are a couple things you want to be aware of. Number 1 is the line at the bottom of the O and the V. You can't keep that straight. You do have to kind of eyeball it a little bit and give it a little bit of a rounded surface. Also, where the letters touch, it can be tempting to try to separate those, but you don't want to do that unless you're really good at eyeballing and you can make that line straight. Because in a situation like that, if you have one line thicker than the other, then it's really going to show up. So basically, everything that's wood colored in there, you want to carve out. The next bit I used is the carving liner bit at 1/8 of an inch deep. Now the reason I use this for a couple different areas is because they're really small, so getting in there with a profile bit would be super tough. And even if I did, it probably wouldn't be very deep. Now the thing about the carving liner bit is it's more of a specialty bit, so I wouldn't want to do this whole thing with the carving liner. I'm only doing the areas that I can't get the profile bit in there. Remember, this is a single flute bit and you can't go quite as deep as you can with the profile bit. So you only want to use this in areas that you have to. And guys, I apologize for a little bit of blurriness. I think we had some sawdust on the camera that we didn't catch before we started filming. Then I use the profile bit at 3/16 of an inch deep to do the rest of the outside of the templates. Now this is probably the most versatile bit we have. You can use it for a lot of different things, but this is really what its specialty is to give you an outline of whatever you're carving. Something to keep in mind is a lot of new carvers, they start carving really shallow. This bit can be dropped all the way to 1/4 of an inch or maybe even a little bit more. And if you're carving too shallow, then you take a risk of actually sanding out a lot of your carving. So make sure when you're doing something like this that you put it plenty deep enough to where you're carving what you want, and after you sand it, you'll still be able to see your outline. Then I put my 90-degree bit in at 1/4 of an inch. Now you don't have to do this, but we really like when you have an outset template like this to give it a much bolder and bigger line around the outside. And it goes pretty fast. And what that does is that gives it a bigger contrast and makes it really pop and actually gives it more depth compared to the board. So we like to put a big bold line around templates like this that we're carving outset. Do a little experiment. Try to carve a template outset with a profile and then do one with the 90-degree bit and you'll see a massive difference. Once your carving's done, make sure to use a stiff brush and get all of that sawdust out of there before you spray it. I wanted to round the corners on this, and there's jigs out there that you can use to get a perfect round, but we just use the disc sander on our floor standing belt sander and it works great. This whole thing took me like, I don't know, 45 seconds or something like that, and it gives a nice soft look to a sign like this. Then the last bit I used is our 45-degree chamfer bit, and I use that to put a real small chamfer on the back and a big deep chamfer on the front. I'll leave links in the description below for all of our different bits that we use, and with these bits you can make just about anything. Now I'm going to spray the front of the sign black, but I want the edge to be red. So when you do different colors like that, that's where your taping skill kind of comes in handy. So I wanted to make sure not to get any black overspray on the red, so I taped that off before I spray it. And then also the same thing with the red. I taped off all of the front of the sign when I sprayed the red edge. So just make sure you try to keep your colors separate when you use more than one. Once all the spray was dry, which took a while because it's like 5 degrees out here, then I used our 60 grit disc on our disc sander and 120 grit on a random orbital, and I got all that black off and gave it a nice smooth finish. Now I used a Sharpie to color in this heart and just try to make a straight line so it wouldn't bleed, but Sharpies tend to bleed a little bit. You can use paint or whatever, but once you put several coats of clear on a Sharpie, it actually lasts a lot longer than you would think. Then we just sprayed a nice thick coat of Rust-Oleum clear on here, and it really makes the red on the edge and the heart stand out. I think it looks really good.
So these are the way we carved them, the way we think that they look the best. But you can carve these inset or outset, and anytime you can add color to a sign, it really attracts the eyes a lot better. So guys, we're selling these individually for $4 a piece, or the whole set is $26. I'll leave a link in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and happy Valentine's Day.